I'm in the locker room. I'm about to clean up after this grimy workout I just put in. But I want to talk to you about something real quick that I don't think a lot of people, at least not enough men, are honest about in the gym and with working out. The thing about exercise is this. Yes, it's great for your heart, great for your body, and all that good stuff. I'm not here to talk about that. Some of the advantages of lifting weights and having muscles are things we don't talk about a lot. And some men may not realize it if they've done it their whole life. I was a fat kid when I was little. And shout out to anybody in my family who's watching this who can get me some pictures of when I was a fat kid. Because I didn't start lifting heavy weights and lifting weights at all until I was in college. But I want to tell you something. Two of the advantages of lifting weights that a lot of people don't talk about. And I mean, when you have visible muscles, it's one thing not to be fat, which everybody should try to be. But when you are like lifting weights and you're like actually, getting big muscles, the two things we don't talk about much. One, other men do business with you more. They look at you as more trustworthy. As much as we don't like to admit it, we live in a world where looks matter. I've seen plenty of guys who are too skinny or too fat do just as much business as I have in the businesses that I've been in. But I can also tell you that it's easier for people to trust a man who takes his body seriously because it's difficult. Because you can't fake that. Listen, you can rent a fancy car, you can borrow a fancy watch, but when people look at your body and say, oh, he puts in the work, he thinks that highly of himself, it's easy for people to think highly of a man who thinks highly of himself anyway. And the other thing is women. And I'm going to talk about this maybe later on in another something or other I write about it. But women argue with you less and defer to you more when you are physically competent. I don't mean you got to be a world-class bodybuilder, but when you have visible muscles and visibly less fat than most men, women have an easier time being loyal and obedient to you. And I'm going to just go ahead and go on record and say the two qualities that most men try to give women to show them that they care are protection and provision, and the two things that women try to do when they really do care about a man is loyalty and obedience. We can talk about that later if you have more you want to expand on. Maybe I'll do a YouTube video on it. I'll leave a link to some of the videos I've done on men and women. But what I can tell you is, like, for example, I have no game. I'm not a slick talker. I know men who can spit game so hard and so cold that rainstorms take a rain check when they walk into the room. I mean, guys that can just say a few magic words. I'm not like that. I'm grimy. I don't know how to be clever with words. I'm just like, look, do you want to go eat some steak with me when I go get some steak? This is what I want. This is what I want to do. So I had to learn how to compensate for that, right? How did I compensate for it? I learned women give you more chances when you have muscles. So I can say something that didn't quite come out as nice as I thought it was going to be, but they'll give me a second or a third chance that they wouldn't give me if I was too skinny or too fat. I just want to put this out there for all the men that are like on the fence about not just lifting weights, but actually getting big and strong. Give yourself a year. Get on a good fundamental 5x5 weightlifting plan. I'll leave some of the links below to that. Do that for 1 year. Do it for 6 months, but do it by the book. And don't tell anyone. That's the secret. Don't tell anyone. See how your life changes. See if business doesn't get better for you. Now, I have the advantage of being in a business where I see my clients face to face with my expat relocation services business, or even before when I was in the investment insurance business. You'll find men do business with you faster, and women tend to argue with you less, agree with you more, and let you get away with things that before would have been like, wow, this dude is not clever at all, will now simply be, I'll giggle and give him a second chance or a third chance. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. If anybody wants to be on my YouTube live, I'm going to do about this in a couple days probably. Let me know. I'll talk to you guys later. Whew. I'm actually using this as my cool off time because I think if I hadn't done this little video, I probably would have just sat down here in the locker room and passed out. Shout out to squats every day.